Baseball is a timeless sport, melodically paced, steeped in traditions that span over a century, solidifying it as America's pastime. The Savannah Bananas took those traditions and spit on them!
Chicken jockey!
The man who started it went homeless doing it, lets his employees pay themselves as much as they want, and refuses to put ads in the stadium. They have a man on stilts, bats are on fire, shirtless men are constantly dancing, a barehanded backflip catch, and a grown man taking a 5-year-old on a date. The Savannah Bananas once let a 75-year-old man pitch for their team. He literally collapsed and stopped breathing during one of the games. Clip after clip, as viral as anything on the internet. They not only have more followers than MLB itself, they have more followers than every NHL team, every NFL team, every NBA team. The Party Animals, a fake team they made up just to have an opponent, has more followers than all 30 MLB teams. There are 3 million people currently on a wait list to see the Savannah Bananas. They sold 81,000 tickets to one game. ESPN, who just decided to opt out of their deal with MLB, will not show MLB games in 2026. They decided to instead show Savannah Banana games. And all of a sudden, people are starting to hate them for it.
Why do you hate the Savannah Bananas?
It's a clown show.
You're running around wearing capes
for little kids. It just pisses me off. I'm just sick of their shit.
I'm growing tired of the Savannah Bananas.
Oh,
yeah.
Join the club.
This one tweet in February set off a complete avalanche of hate. 19 million views, thousands of replies ripping them to shreds, which had everybody wondering how could a team that has been universally beloved for years seemingly gain hundreds of thousands of haters by one tweet. But the truth is, they've had haters for years. In fact, if you ask some people in Savannah, Georgia, the Bananas' hometown, they've hated the Bananas since the second they got to Savannah. That was in 2016, and this guy is the one who did it. Jesse Cole is the mastermind behind the Savannah Bananas. He was a Division I pitcher, a 4-year starter, was named Southern Conference Player of the Month as a freshman, has multiple school records, and wanted to go to MLB. Then he got hurt. His career ended. So instead of going to MLB, he went to the Gastonia Grizzlies, which is probably the complete opposite. At 23 years old, he was hired as the general manager for a collegiate summer ball team. There was a few $100s in the team's bank account. The team had lost over $100,000 the year before. Only a few hundred people came to watch the games, and they ranked last in the country in attendance. Jesse Cole quickly realized most fans don't really care about collegiate summer baseball. So to make them care, he started holding farting contests on the field, held grandma beauty pageants, sold donut hot dogs and donut hamburgers. They created viral tuxedo uniforms, and for some reason thought attendance would go up if they started playing games that started at midnight. These games literally sold out. In fact, Jesse broke their attendance record 7 years in a row. The team won Organization of the Year. He was named Executive of the Year, was named Gaston's Person of the Year. Jesse Cole is an amateur baseball sicko. College summer baseball does not make money. Anyone who has success working with a college summer baseball team uses that success to get a job with a better team. Not Jesse Cole. He got a job with the team, did it for 7 years, then literally bought the team. He even started a business where he consulted other teams across the country on how to sell more tickets. His advice included grow your own furniture night, how many people can fit into a porta potty contest, letting anyone in the stadium for free if they wore underwear on the outside of their pants. Cole was literally helping run 5 or more collegiate summer ball teams at the same time, some in the same leagues, and all were successful. He even met his future wife doing it. She also worked for a baseball team. He proposed at a baseball game, then held a 30-minute fireworks show in the middle of the game for it. They got married at a baseball stadium and even named their first baby a Banana Baby. This wasn't its real name, but that's what they called it at the stadium, and had an entire team hoist the baby in the air in ceremony when it was 19 days old. Jesse was obsessed with owning a collegiate summer ball team, so much so that he bought another team. In 2016, he became owner of 2 different teams. He employed many of the same promotional tactics for both teams. Both teams were in the same league. They would literally play each other multiple times a year, but his new team in Savannah was his true love. Again, college summer baseball doesn't make a lot of money. Right after this purchase, him and his team were working in an old storage closet with no internet or phone line. He emptied his entire savings account to buy this team. Him and his wife literally sold their house and moved into an apartment with an air mattress to be able to afford it, living off $30 a month. One night, he woke up to his wife screaming because there was a cockroach crawling on his face, and with only a few months until opening day, they had only sold 1 pair of season tickets. Off the bat, the team was a failure, but the team didn't even have a name yet. Desperate for attention, Jesse was set on picking the craziest name possible, no matter the backlash. They needed publicity, so they decided to do a contest, had fans submit their preferred name. They would go through all 1,000 plus name suggestions, and then in front of a live audience would pick the name they would go with. And on February 25th, 2016, they announced that they would be called the Savannah Bananas, and people in Savannah hated this name. Savannah had just lost an affiliate minor league team. They were used to more serious baseball. Comment after comment clowned the name. Jesse and his team went to a St. Patrick's Day parade to promote the team and got booed. It was getting a ton of hate, but it also was a massive success. This name was so controversial, it trended on Twitter. They did a mascot reveal at an elementary school and kids loved it. All of a sudden, people started paying attention, and that led to ticket sales. In an insane deal, Jesse offered season tickets for $15 a game, which would not only include a seat, but also a free all-you-can-eat buffet at every single game for just $15. This name and deal built up enough attention for them to sell out their home opener, and they continued this strategy of trying to get as much attention as possible. They tried to see how many people could fit into a porta potty, had a band, had a Savannah Banana dog, they had a senior citizen cheerleading squad. Jesse and fans would try to throw bananas and hit targets with them in the middle of games. And these were real games, playing in the Coastal Plain League, a league where college players go to compete and get better against other top-tier college opponents. This league has produced players like Justin Verlander, Chris Taylor, Kevin Youkilis, Ryan Zimmerman, even Russell Wilson played in this league. It's a legitimate league that crowns a champion every summer. It's taken very seriously, while the Savannah Bananas had a first base coach who would literally breakdance the entire game. They ran a practice with no baseballs, just bananas, promo videos where their coach stuffed bananas in his and his players' faces. They even officially offered Barack Obama an internship. Leaning into this craziness immediately worked. Their first season, they ranked second in the country in college summer league attendance. They were named Organization of the Year. Jesse and his wife Emily won Executives of the Year. The team won the championship, and in their first season sold out 17 of their first 25 home games. That was 9 years ago, and since then, they've sold out every single home game since. Years before the millions of social media followers, the Bananas were finding ways to go viral. They started wearing kilts as part of their uniforms. They had players go into the stands, take an elderly woman on a date in the middle of a game, do a makeshift dinner, give them a rose, dance with them on the field, then go back and play the rest of the game. Despite being in a competitive college baseball league, they weren't getting players solely on their playing ability. They were getting players based on their dancing abilities. Essentially, every single Savannah Banana was required to dance and act in the team's series of comedy sketches done for promotion. The reason college players go to summer ball leagues like this is because they're pursuing the major leagues. They go play for free so they can develop and improve as baseball players. The Bananas were practicing dancing almost as much as they practice baseball itself. You'd think a lot of competitive players would feel like dancing on the field was beneath them, but they were playing in front of sold-out crowds every single night, attracting top talent from across the country. This dancing team that did skits for social media were elite. In 2018, they had 7 players get drafted. In 2021, they had 8 players get drafted. The next year, 11 Savannah Bananas got drafted. Tristan Peters got drafted. The next day, played a game in a kilt, did a dance on the field, then reported to the Brewers organization a few days after that. They won the Coastal Plain League 4 out of their first 6 years, broke a Coastal Plain League attendance record in their first season, then broke it again the next season, selling out every single game. By their third season, they had ticket scalpers selling tickets 2 times their face value at their summer college league games, as thousands of people were on a wait list just to get tickets. The Savannah Bananas were beloved, but once again, they did something that pissed off fans all over Savannah. Jesse was obsessed with keeping fans engaged as much as possible, but noticed despite the constant side entertainment they were putting on, starting in the 7th or 8th inning, some fans would inevitably leave early, concluding that baseball was fundamentally too long and slow, and no matter what the team did, fans would always leave early. So he decided he was just going to create an entire new sport. Originally starting in 2018, him and his team drew up new rules to a sport called Bananaball. It's like baseball, except the games are only 2 hours long. After an hour and 50 minutes, a new inning cannot start. There's no mound visits. There's no stepping out of the box. There's no bunting. On ball 4, batters don't walk to first, they sprint to first, then can advance as many bases as they want, while the defense has to throw the ball to every single position player on the field before being allowed to attempt to get the runner out. A batter can also steal first. If a ball gets past the catcher, they are free to run to first no matter the count. And if a batter hits a foul ball and a fan catches that foul ball, that batter is out. If you score more runs than the other team in an inning, you win that inning. The first team to win 5 innings wins the game. If the game is tied when the time limit is hit, there is an overtime between a batter, pitcher, catcher, and one fielder. The batter hits the ball and tries to make it all the way to home before the one fielder can sprint, get the ball, throw it to the catcher, and get them out. Eventually, this would evolve to also have guys on stilts, Guitar Hero, and guys driving cars in the field. But at this point, Bananaball was just an idea. They believed they had made the most fan-interactive form of baseball possible, but stuck in a sanctioned summer league with official rules and a full schedule all summer, they had no place or time to try out their new rules. Then 2020 happened. A pandemic is a death sentence to a team like the Bananas, getting close to 100% of revenue via live ticketed events at a time where nobody was going outside, let alone to a summer league baseball game. Instead, they were inside watching brain rot. Teenagers are becoming household names on a new app that has taken over the world, and now everybody's stuck inside, amplifying it, as 20-second dances recorded in bedrooms are getting tens, even hundreds of millions of views. Local sports franchises can't do anything, slowly rotting away, the Bananas included. Going into 2020, they announced they were going to make their stadium completely ad-free. No ads in the entire stadium, just banana logos to emphasize their fan-first values. But now they have no ticket sales and no sponsors. To make matters worse, half of the Coastal League already stated they would not play in 2020. The Bananas are now in a 3-team league with a shortened season. By law, the stadium wasn't even allowed to be half full, had no sponsorships to make up for this lost revenue, and it's probably the best thing to ever happen to them. In 2020, the Savannah Bananas launched their TikTok page and did what they did best: danced on it. Within 2 weeks, they had already gotten hundreds of thousands of views. But with most teams across the country shutting down their seasons, they had nobody to play. They only had 2 other teams in their league. They had a completely open schedule and the perfect time to try out Bananaball. With no one to play, they played themselves. After practicing these rules for 1 day, the Bananas played an exhibition, split their team into 2, ripe and unripe, The first walk was a home run. 3 batters stepped out of the box and got in trouble for it. A batter tried to bunt and got thrown out of the game. It was somewhat chaotic, but realizing this was the best way to make up for less games and less fans, the Bananas leaned in. With no opponents or other options, they created an entirely new team themselves just to have someone to play. On extremely short notice, they recruited local college kids to become the Party Animals, scheduling the first ever Bananaball game with a real opponent. It resulted in 4 walk-offs and resulted in a sudden death win, where a batter going against a pitcher and 1 fielder hit a ball to the wall, then got gunned down at home to lose the game. It was electric. The Bananas grew like crazy in 2020, leaning into dance trends and thirst traps on TikTok while the app was exploding, getting hundreds of thousands of views per video. Most of their games were actual baseball games in their regular Coastal Plain League. They hired a first base coach who never played baseball just because he was good at dancing, did pitching changes with a banana boat, had a player hit with a banana in his pocket, even had their broadcaster come onto the field in the middle of a game to take it at bat in a real game, and he even got a hit. All of this was in actual baseball games, but the Bananas knew Bananaball was the key to the future, announcing that next year they were going on a world tour. They decided they now needed 3 teams, a competitive team to play in their college summer league, a team of whack jobs to play Bananaball, and another team of whack jobs so the first team of whack jobs would have a team to play Bananaball against. They held an open tryout where they put players through baseball drills, as well as a TikTok station to see how well they could dance, an interview station to see if they were good on the mic, and even a bat flip competition. They then picked 34 players to solely play Bananaball, as well as a 35th guy who barely even played baseball just because he was good at using stilts. They sent these 2 teams to play 4 games, 2 at home in Savannah and 2 in Mobile, Alabama. Yes, their world tour was literally 1 location, and it was 1 state away. This is when the first games with actual Bananaball teams were played. The 4 games featured a marching band, Duck Duck Goose, beer pong, a ton of walk-offs, and all 4 were sold out. But more importantly, the Bananas, who already were getting some traction on TikTok, saw posts from these games do noticeably better. Then they let a 10'9" man wearing stilts take an at-bat in the pouring rain, getting nailed by a pitch in his first at-bat. A few days later, this same guy came up, hit a grounder to second, and got out at first, and the video went insane. Sitting at over 9 million views, this 14-second video likely brought the Bananas more attention than anything they had ever done. The entire world was curious on how this was allowed to happen on a baseball field. SportsCenter, ESPN, The Wall Street Journal all featured the Bananas after this, introducing them as the wacky team that plays with sudden death, allows players to steal first, and even counts balls caught by fans as outs. For many people to this day, this was their first exposure to the team, seeing the Bananas as a strange team that plays under strange rules. However, the 4 Bananaball games they scheduled for 2021 were already over. The Bananaball team went home, and a new group of Savannah Bananas arrived to play real baseball games in their regular summer league. By this point, their TikTok had catapulted from 300,000 to 575,000 followers, largely due to the exposure sparked by a single social clip. Bananas, aware of this, now saw every game as an opportunity to make a viral TikTok. They mic'd up players in the field and recorded them talking about their girlfriends' moms in the crowd while making a diving catch. A player pulled a hamstring, then turned it into a twerk routine. A player doing the chubby bunny challenge while playing in the outfield. A player slamming 2 sodas together, chugging them, pulling a bat out of his pants, and snapping it before an at-bat. This guy became his own PA announcer and introduced himself to the plate. And clip after clip of players lip-syncing to trending songs while walking to the plate. All of these were filmed specifically for TikTok and got millions of views, and happened in actual baseball games played in the Coastal Plains League. Most people did not realize that, but 95% of the time, the Bananas were playing in competitive baseball games with regular baseball rules. They had 4 players on this team get drafted, yet everybody thought of the Bananas as the team that dances, does skits while playing under weird made-up rules. The team had shot from 300,000 to close to 1 million followers in one season. They announced more Bananaball was coming, a 6-city, 10-game tour, hired a former major leaguer, Eric Burns, to be their manager. Their tryout featured comedian Bert Kreischer, impressive trick plays in the field, and a player playing with their pants down. And these videos got at least 9.5 million TikTok views combined, and it was the tryout. About a month later, the tour started with a 2-game series. The TikToks they created, mostly choreographed dances, lip syncing, and a guy in stilts, got 53.5 million views in 2 days. The rest was history. The Bananas were viral. Over the next month, they posted only one video that got less than 1 million views. It had 970,000. They had 2 batters hitting at once, an umpire trust fall, 2 shirtless players doing a waltz, and a ton of dancing. Former MLB pitcher Jake Peavy pitched for the Bananas. ESPN did a behind-the-scenes miniseries on the Bananas and even agreed to air a Bananaball game on ESPN, a game where the Bananas called on a 75-year-old former MLB pitcher to pitch for the team, and he literally almost died on the field. But before we get to that, a quick word from today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by Factor, a meal service that delivers delicious meals right to your door. Factor has been sponsoring for a couple years now, and I've been eating it ever since. Cooking takes forever, cleaning takes forever, going to the grocery store takes forever and is annoying. With Factor, you can skip all of that. Every meal is fresh and is ready to eat within 2 minutes. It really doesn't make sense how fresh and tasty these Factor meals are. They offer over 35 meals per week. They have keto options, calorie smart options, vegan and veggie options. They even have gourmet plus meal options, which include premium produce along with meals as exquisite as steak and salmon, which are just some of the options which are coming soon to Factor. Every week, they got new and fresh options for you to choose from, and honestly, I've enjoyed every meal I've ever gotten from them. I don't think you can go wrong. It's quick, easy, while also being healthy and tasting amazing, and now it's cheaper than ever. Just head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50BaseballDoesIt to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50BaseballDoesIt at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Do it right now. Bill Spaceman Lee is a former Red Sox pitcher who started his major league career in 1969. He left MLB 40 years ago and hasn't stopped pitching since, throwing in any league that lets him. During his first appearance for the Bananas, he was brought in on a chariot driven by a dad bod cheerleader on a bike, then proceeded to pitch a scoreless inning. They let him pitch against the Bananas for a game, beamed a guy with an ephus, then threw him to the ground in a staged fight. He also came into one game from the stands, chugged a beer, then struck a guy out who was 50 years younger than him. Months later, Bill Lee was preparing for another outing, warming up in the bullpen. He hadn't eaten all day and says he chugged 2 energy drinks in the bullpen. In the middle of his warm-ups, he collapsed. According to eyewitnesses, he stopped breathing and was unresponsive. What's insane is that his bullpen catcher that was warming him up happened to be an EMT. What's even more insane is that this game was also the team's City Employee Appreciation Night, meaning it was packed with police, firefighters, and medics. Many of them rushed to the bullpen to help Bill Lee. An ambulance arrived and they used a defibrillator to shock him back onto his feet. This also just so happened to be the one game of the entire year that was live broadcasted on ESPN. The game was stopped. Players formed a prayer circle, and when Bill Lee got up to his feet, 4,000 people in the crowd cheered. he was taken to the hospital where he apparently woke up and immediately told the doctor he was ready to pitch again and that he could have gone 9 innings, saying he never felt better in his life. And he might have been right, because just a year later, he made his Bananaball return, and just 2 years later, at 79 years old, in Fenway Park, in front of a completely sold-out crowd, faced one batter, got him to pop out, and left the field to a standing ovation. But Bill Lee was not the only celebrity guest in 2022. Johnny Bench coached first. Josh Reddick hit a bomb for the Savannahs. Jonathan Papelbon pitched for the Savannahs. Jake Peavy pitched for the Bananas. Even the wife of one of the Savannah Bananas pitched for the Savannah Bananas. And she got a strikeout. From their first 6-city tour, the Bananas gained 1.4 million followers in 10 games. Yes, in the month of April alone, they gained 900,000 followers on TikTok, a rate of growth pretty much unheard of for anyone. However, this massive success also caused a massive problem for the Bananas. It was obvious the public loved Bananaball, but by May, their entire schedule of Bananaball games were already over. Their competitive team came to Savannah to play their regular Coastal Plains season, but real baseball games were not what the 1.4 million people who just followed the Bananas came to see. The Bananas tried to schedule as many extra Bananaball games as they could. To open the Coastal Plain League season, they had the Bananaball team play the competitive team in a Bananaball game, set a world record for most banana costumes worn at once, attempted the longest banana throw in history, and the 2 TikToks from this game combined for 25 million views. However, with the Bananaball schedule officially over, the team struggled to maintain the attention with regular baseball games. Stunts like batting with a bat on fire, batting while blindfolded, having a player driven on the field in a police car were not possible in actual competitive leagues. Even their patented group dance to pitch routine was not possible with an actual umpire calling a game with actual rules. They knew pushing the limits on insane stunts is what got them 1 million followers in a month, and they were trying their best to keep it up. In one game, they had their first base coach grill burgers on the field. The opposing team, however, was not happy about this. Their coach immediately paused the game to complain, and the ump ordered the grill off the field. The Bananas still continued using the grill in their dugout, and the next batter proceeded to get nailed by a pitch. The first base coach then went on to feed this guy a burger at first base, and he stole second base while eating a burger. The level of stunts Bananaball fans became accustomed to had consequences in real baseball games and were no longer possible. They still had success on social media, but there was a noticeable drop-off in views. Without Bananaball games, a video with 1 million views was becoming more rare. To make matters worse, fans at games were now confused. According to Jesse, they were getting non-stop complaints from upset fans who came to see wacky baseball with weird rules and got an actual baseball game played between 2 competitive teams. The Bananas were stuck at a crossroads, and in August 2022, they made a decision they felt was inevitable. From here on out, they would only play Bananaball games, and their competitive team in the Coastal Plain League was now disbanded. And this also upset fans, especially in Savannah. One scathing local newspaper article mirrors the opinions of some in Savannah at the time. This person was one of their first fans, was one of the first people to ever cover the Bananas, was part of the Bananas documentary and their New York Times article. Now, they were publishing a headline that says they were breaking up with the Savannah Bananas. The Bananas had been influenced way too much with what got views on TikTok. More Bananaball meant more road games in massive stadiums and less home games for local Savannah fans who already found it almost impossible to get tickets anymore. The fans who supported the Bananas when they had nothing were no longer the priority, and the guy who went broke and risked everything just to bring baseball back to Savannah, in the eyes of some, was now just some greedy opportunist who left the first chance he got. But Jesse felt like he didn't have much choice. The team had gained 3 million followers in one season. They had more followers than any other team in MLB now. It was obvious millions of people flocked to the Bananas just to see Bananaball, and the only way to keep them happy was to go all in on Bananaball and do it across the country. In 2023, that's exactly what they did, announcing a 7-month exclusively Bananaball tour, playing 86 games in 33 cities, hitting a level of growth that was insane even for the Bananas. They built 4 entire teams, 1 banana team and 3 opponents, all full-time entertainers. Even their practices were performances, doing drills with air fryers, practicing with smoothies, fielding with Target shopping carts, full-on music video remakes getting 20 million views. They even hired full-time umpires that dance and clean home plate with a vacuum, hired a 7-year-old umpire who didn't take grief from anybody, pitchers who struck out people from second base, pitchers who throw literal fireballs, pitchers pitching on trampolines, fielders fielding on trampolines, batters hitting with giant bats. One guy literally skied to the plate, then hit a bomb wearing ski boots. But the most important content they posted were synchronized dances in the middle of pitches, as well as heartthrob Bananas lip-syncing and serenading fans while running from the stands onto the field, which accumulated hundreds of millions of views and outperformed any other kind of clip the Bananas ever posted without competition. A switch to Bananaball doubled the Bananas following in a single year, a 500% increase in revenue. The waitlist for tickets grew to over 1 million names, while their home ballpark fit 5,000 people. Despite the insane growth and attention, the Bananas stuck to their non-traditional business strategies, turning down millions in outside investments, keeping the stadium and team nearly 100% advertising free. Even with the millions wanting tickets, Jesse kept pricing at just $25 each. On top of that, all ticket fees and sales taxes on Savannah Banana purchases are paid by the Bananas. The team even lets employees name their own salaries. According to one player, he earned twice as much playing for the Bananas than he would have playing at the highest level of minor league baseball. And these unconventional methods have worked perfectly. The Bananas hit the mainstream in 2023. Soon deals with ESPN, Bally Sports, Stadium, TNT, and True TV all began begging for the rights to show the Bananas on TV. In 2024, a tour that sold out 18 MLB stadiums across the country and had an attendance over 1 million in just a year. That's more than at least one MLB team in only 88 games playing in much smaller venues. It included massive guests like John Cena, Doug Flutie, Roger Clemens, even a man running the bases with just his arms. The Bananas even put on their own cruise, which includes performances by the actual players, a literal choreographed show put on by the Bananas and all their teams. You can go to the nail painting station with the Bananas, take a workout class with the Bananas, do yoga with the Bananas, even make Valentine's Day gifts with the Bananas. The Bananas became a brand bigger than baseball. Naturally, the scheduled 2025 tour was set to be the biggest yet. Bigger celebrities, bigger stadiums, bigger stunts, but one of the very first posts of the season was this. It has 19 million views, but it's filled with hate. It was reposted with the caption, quote, "So glad my childhood was the steroid era." And that seemed to strike a chord. 60,000 likes and 6.3 million views later, nearly every reply to these tweets were people saying how lame the Savannah Bananas were. And although this hate was sudden, it's kinda obvious why. The TikTok page was originally the idea of an intern in 2020. She was a 20-year-old college girl. Within a year, she got the account to 1 million followers by leaning into the content she was looking for on TikTok, which was, quote, "cute boys." The audience at one point was 70% female. That's what the account was made for, and to this day, that's what people want. When the Bananas dance and thirst trap, it goes way more viral than any baseball stunt they can pull off. This is not designed to appeal to adult men, but adult men make up a majority of baseball's demographic. So as the Bananas have gotten bigger and bigger by doing less and less baseball and more dancing, it is inevitable that people will begin to point out the somewhat cringy nature of some of their content. Their 2025 tour is insane. It goes across 40 cities, includes 3 football stadiums. They just played a game in front of 81,000 fans and completely sold it out. The ticket waitlist is over 3 million people. They plan on selling 2 million tickets in 2025. That's more than 9 MLB teams last season. In a massive deal, ESPN has bought the exclusive rights to broadcast 10 Bananaball games on ESPN and ESPN2 simultaneously. However, for the first time ever, if you look in the replies of their post, you will almost always see at least some people in the comments calling it lame. The Bananas are currently distancing themselves from baseball itself, creating a Savannah Banana universe that can sustain itself with or without a baseball game. Just look at the cruises. The entire thing is filled with events that have nothing to do with baseball. They are going on this cruise to see the Bananas do dance lessons and nail painting. The team is the main attraction. They already announced in 2026 they're creating even more teams, having an entire 6-team league. Eventually, they'll have an entire regular season, playoffs, and champion crown. More characters, more enemies, more competition, but they're not playing baseball. They're playing Bananaball. The goal is no longer to become the biggest baseball team on earth. They've arguably already done that. The goal now is to compete with baseball and create a sport and brand that is bigger than baseball. And to do that, they have to do less baseball. Just a few years ago, they did something very similar when they stopped playing in the Coastal Plain League. Their local fans got mad for distancing themselves from Savannah. Then they doubled their size in a season. Now they're doing the same thing by distancing themselves from baseball itself. And once again, people are getting upset about it. But if everything goes according to plan, they may double in size again.